They expected a placeholder. They got a revolution of tenderness. A farm boy from Bergamo walks onto the world stage at 76, smiling, waving, disarming the cameras. They call him John XXIII. He opens a window, not to change the faith, but to let it breathe. A council no one predicted. A voice calm enough to steady nations on the brink. He doesn't thunder. He invites. He doesn't posture. He blesses. The world leans in, because holiness just walked into the room and said, "Let's talk." He begins in a stone farmhouse under the Alps. 13 children, bread stretched thin, rosary thick with use. Angelo learns the rhythms of soil and the quicker rhythm of mercy. He studies by lamplight, enters seminary young, and keeps the look of someone who remembers chores before dawn. Ordained at 23, Bergamo gives him a mentor, Bishop Radini Tedeschi, a pastor who loves workers and keeps doors open. Angelo takes notes, truth without sharp edges, authority without distance. Then war. He moves through hospital tents, hears last words, writes letters home. Suffering teaches him a language no classroom offers. When he says, "Dear children," later as Pope, he's talking to patients he never forgot. Before the white cassock, there were train stations at night. Ink on papers, doors that needed opening. Angelo moves from Bulgaria to Istanbul, learning how to listen in 3 languages at once. Orthodox bishops, Muslim scholars, wary consuls, he greets all of them like neighbors. War tightens. Reports claim he whispers through safe channels, pushes letters across borders, and helps souls find routes out. No headlines. No speeches, just names on lists, and the stubborn belief that mercy can travel faster than fear. Paris, 1944. France is raw, tempers are quick. He walks into rooms where everyone is right and no one is kind. Justice matters, he says, so does the gospel. He lowers the temperature until people hear each other breathe. By the time Venice claims him as patriarch, the lagoon already knows. This shepherd smells like the street and prays like a monk. The world thinks his story is ending. It's just turning the page. The cardinals wanted time. They got a deadline. A placeholder. Pope walks onto the balcony and smiles like your grandfather. Weeks later, he drops 4 words that rearrange the furniture. An ecumenical council. Not to trade the faith for fashion, but to let the gospel breathe in the world we actually live in. He calls it aggiornamento, not amnesia. Curia jaws tighten. Bishops book tickets. The world shrugs until October 11th, 1962. Gadet mater ecclesia. The church rejoices. Not anathemas, he says, but the medicine of mercy. Keep the deposit. Change the tone. Speak to hearts before you argue with heads. A window opens, and the room smells like morning. Sirens in headlines. Maps with arrows. Fingers near red buttons. A quiet pope steps to the microphone. He asks the powerful to listen to conscience before pride. The temperature in the room drops a few degrees. He doesn't pick a side. He picks peace. Kennedy hears him. Khrushchev hears him. The world unclenches, just enough to breathe. Then he writes like a father at the kitchen table. Mater et magistra, work with dignity, fields that feed families, economies that remember the poor. Pacem in terris, not to Catholics only, but to all people of goodwill. Person first, rights and duties together. Law ordered to the common good. An arms race that cannot be home. He changes a prayer on Good Friday, a small line that healed a large wound. He walks into hospitals and prisons without cameras, and speaks the language that works everywhere. Mercy with a backbone. By the time the year closes, a farm boy in white has steadied a trembling planet, not with threats, but with a human voice that remembers God. He opens the doors and lets the air in. No thunder, no fear, just a father saying, "Speak freely." Bishops stand. Arguments sharpen. Friendship grows anyway. The watchwords are simple. Propose, don't pummel. offer the medicine of mercy before the list of fevers. He invites observers from other churches. Not to vote, to be seen, to be heard. The signal is unmistakable. We keep the faith, and we keep the family door unlocked. Scripture takes the lectern beside tradition. Liturgy is asked to breathe again, clarity for the people, reverence for the mystery. Mission turns outward, speak to the world we actually have, not the one we wish we had. He watches the debate like a pastor at a parish council. When tempers rise, he smiles and lowers the room by 10 degrees. When lines harden, he reminds them why they came, not to shrink the gospel, but to shine it. He won't live to close the work he started. But he leaves the blueprint, tradition intact, tone transformed, doors open. A window, still widening. Spring comes slowly to Rome that year. So does the pain. He keeps working. He signs Pacem in Terrace with hands that shake a little, a letter for every person of goodwill. Rights and duties, nations and neighbors. Peace that begins in the human heart before any treaty. By May, the steps are shorter. By June, the city holds its breath. Crowds press the square at night, rosaries in fists, eyes on the lighted windows. He asks them to pray, not to keep him here, but to keep the church brave. He blesses the world he loves, like a grandfather at the door, refusing to make the goodbye heavy. June 3rd, 1963. A quiet room, a life poured out. The council will go on, he had said. And it does. He didn't rewrite the creed. He rewrote the tone. Propose before you oppose. Mercy before severity. Talk to all people of goodwill, because truth doesn't fear daylight. The council's documents arrive after him, but his fingerprints are on every page. Scripture beside tradition. Liturgy that breathes. A church that knows how to open a door without losing her center. History calls him Good Pope John. But goodness for him was not soft. It was sturdy, patient in hospitals, unafraid at microphones, and stubborn for peace when nations shook. He stepped onto a balcony under the moon and spoke like a grandfather. Go home, he said, and let love reach someone tonight. That's his legacy in one line, doctrine with a human face. So what do we do with him now? Keep the faith, change the tone, open the window, and when the world feels loud, answer it the way he did, with a brave heart and a kindly voice. If the story opens something in you, keep it open. Keep the faith, change the tone, open the window, pray for a brave heart and a kindly voice. And if you want more lives that steady the world, subscribe and stay close.